This is exercise 6-2, modifying a ceiling. We're going to learn how to modify a ceiling, rotate a ceiling grid, and determine the ceiling's elevation. So to get started, we want to come over to our project browser and look under ceiling plans. Just be careful when you're working with floor plans and ceiling plans that you're on ceiling plans when working with the ceiling and not on floor plan. Otherwise, you're going to get an error message. So we're on ceiling plans and we're going to the ground floor admin wing. So this is showing the floor plan for the ground floor admin wing, but it's showing the ceiling for that room, or that space. We're going to zoom into the area where the ceiling grid and lighting fixtures are placed. So we're coming over to this room. We want to window around and select the ceiling and lighting fixtures. So we can do it this way, but you'll notice it also selects walls. We could do it this way, but then it selects a lot more walls. So if we go from left to right, we could do this, and then if you hold down on your keyboard Shift, you can click on the walls to deselect them. See how there's a minus sign near my cursor. Okay, so now I have the ceiling and the light fixtures selected. Another way to do that was I could have filtered them and selected only the ceiling and lighting fixtures. Oh, which is what they asked me to do. Well, let's do it that way. So I showed you one way, let's show you the filter tool. So now I can say filter, uncheck walls, so I just see ceiling and lighting fixtures, and then I say OK. Alright, so two ways to do that. Now we're going to select the rotate tool from the modify panel on the ribbon, and you'll see that a little blue dot shows up, so this is the point of origin for the rotation. We want to select a base point that is horizontal and to the right of the selected elements. And then we're going to move the cursor above the selected elements, enter 90 on our bar, and then hit enter. So I'm going to select my base point, come up here. You can do it two ways. You can type 90 in here, or I can click, I can rotate and type 90, and then I'll do the same thing. Now we want to press escape to release the selection. Okay, so notice now that our grid is way outside of our walls. This isn't right? The ceiling is going through the walls, and that can't happen because this is a ceiling grid for just this one room. So we need to fix this. We're going to select the ceiling. The easiest way to do that is click on the edge of the ceiling. And we're going to select Edit Boundary up here from our Mode panel. And you see this pink box come up, which is the boundary line, similar to what we saw in the last exercise. We're going to use the Align tool to align those pink boundary lines to the walls. So we select where we want to go, and then the object we want to move. Where we want to go, the object we want to move. We just keep doing that all the way around. And notice that these lock icons come up. If you locked these boundary lines, the nice thing about that is it's going to lock it to this wall. So every time I move this wall or move that wall, the ceiling grid would move with the wall. So that's a nice benefit. The disadvantage of it is if you try to rotate the ceiling is that you're probably going to get a warning that pops up. But if you did lock these, it's kind of nice because it will move as you move the walls, and then you don't have to go back and fix the ceiling. So just remember that. Okay, so now that we have that done, we're going to click the green check mark, and it places the ceiling back in the room. You can hit escape or to get out of that command. Now we're going to select the Align tool from the Modify panel on the ribbon. So we got to come up to Manage, oh, sorry about that, not Manage, Modify, and then select the Align tool. And we want to select the inner face of the upper wall and align it with the top horizontal grid. So this is the inner face of the upper wall, and it says we want to align it with this grid right here. Okay, so now you'll notice that when you did that, the grid's actually spaced evenly inside of the room. And this is what we would actually like to see. These little slivers here, or what we had before, is not desirable when building a building. So we always want to try to center them in the space. Something else that we should do is to try to center these lights in the space too. So you can use the align command too. If you click on the line and then click on this object, it will move that light fixture down. So I suggest doing that as well. Oops. So align, click on the line on the object, because you would like the lights in the center of the space, okay? So we'll do both of those. Now we want to select just the ceiling. So I'm going to draw my window again, use the filter tool, and uncheck everything except for ceiling. Okay, so now my ceiling is selected. And in the properties panel, let's just take a little gander over here. You can see that it has an offset of 8 feet. So that means that from the base of my floor up 8 feet, that's where my ceiling starts, at 8 feet. You can change this. You could change it to 9 feet or 10 feet depending upon whatever desired height is for that room. The certification exam will ask you to either place or modify a ceiling and then identify one of the element parameters such as perimeter area or volume. So you should take a look at those things, perimeter area, volume, and how to modify the height so that you become comfortable with that.